What's up guys, I'm TripleJaz, you're you, and this is how to get better at hands. Hands are the things that just everyone tries to avoid. I don't know why, you have two of them right here. There should be no excuse for not to be able to draw hands. I'm gonna show you a couple things that I think would really help you understand the anatomy, the structure, and the gestural shape of hands that hopefully will be really helpful. So I'm just gonna use my webcam right here and we're gonna do a couple of really simple examples, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna hit record, do something interesting like this, fist, like that, do like a relaxed pose. So now that I took a video, all I'm gonna do is screenshot my computer at various points and place it on my PureF board. I use an app called ShareX. It's totally free, open source, and I'm just gonna use that to clip areas of my monitor and paste them here. Hands are the things I always use reference for, and the reason that I do is because I have two hands that I can quickly reference. Whenever I come across a hand that I'm like, I don't actually know what this looks like, I just quickly open up my camera app or my phone, and I just take a screenshot of it, and then I bring it onto my computer, and now I'm good to go. Grab the Mech pencil brush, which is in my brush pack, by the way. Free, link in description. These are the secrets you're not supposed to know. These are the secrets no one is going to tell you but me. I have the secrets, so let me tell you. First of all, the base of the hand, the palm, you can think of like a piece of bread, okay? It's a rectangular prism that tapers at the end. So if you're looking at it from the top, this is what it looks like. So when we draw this in perspective, we have something that goes like this. There's a little arch to it and a little bit of roundness to it, okay? Something like that. The shape of the fingers is effectively a pentagon that's skewed slightly. So square, pentagon, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky. Hey guys, Purge here. Now that we've gone over the shapes of the hand in 2D, I'm gonna break down real quick how I think about these shapes in 3D. So once we draw the bread hand, I then think about the plot points of each finger. So each finger has space in between it where the webbing is. You can think of fingers as cylinders or boxes. I typically like to work with cylinders because they're more gestural than the stiffness of a box in perspective. And remember that each entry point of the fingers has an accompanying knuckle. Each section has technically a joint and a hinge. So they're gonna kind of pop up a little bit. Remember that the thumb has kind of a slight natural arc to it. So you can think of the fingers as cylinders when trying to draw them in space, but when rendering, remember that this is actually gonna have a pretty direct shadow here. So whichever one is more helpful for you, that's how you should think of the fingers. So one option is cylinders, another are boxes. This is the tricky part, okay? This is the tricky part that everyone gets caught up on. Let me show you my quick hand solution to this. If you really exaggerate the top of the finger, this is what it looks like. First of all, I draw them in sections. So as I'm tracing over a finger, I'm thinking about a finger, I'm thinking of 1, 2, 3 sections. 1, 2, 3 sections. If you want to draw realistic or even stylized hands, 1, 2, 3. This is the motion that I'm making as I'm drawing it. 1, 2, 3. I'm just leveling it out a little bit more so it's less like this and more just like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then on the bottom, 1, 2, 3. Another really quick, cool shorthand that people love doing. You go 1, 2, 3. And you just draw a tiny little separator in the middle for your two fingers here because they kind of do tend to have like a slight separation to them like this. So that's a very quick, easy way of doing a shorthand for them. The next thing is the gesture of the hand. It's gonna go right along the top of the knuckle ridge. So it's gonna go right here. This is where the knuckles are, okay? Knuckles, second set, third set. Cross, 1, 2, 3. Those are my 3 gesture lines. So again, square, tapered bread. For the palm, pentagon, fingers slightly tilted in favor of the side of the thumb. So this is the index finger, so it's going to be the thumbs over here. So I'm gonna put the index finger here, okay? But really, I'm thinking about gesture here. And I'll show you how this all plays into it in a little bit. Again, just a slight bump for the next finger. 2, 3. In between there. And this guy usually pokes out that way. Just the way the pinky goes, kind of it just pokes out. Fingers are pretty cylindrical. They're kind of just cylindrical and that's it. But the thumb, it has an interesting shape to it. Let's break down that shape. The shape is something like this. It almost looks like some sort of weird Star Wars cruise ship or something. Like, I don't know, it's a very strange shape. It's got two sections. The main part where it juts out, and then this hinge here. And then it goes out a little bit, comes back in, out, back in. This is the main shape of the thumb. You can see it's almost like a hand. The way that I draw fingers has actually been like the most unlocking, code cracking thing for me, because now I have an easy way to think about the lines, the contours, and the construction. So if a finger is made up of 3 individual cylinders, here we go. There's a finger, boom, boom, boom. And on the other side, boom, boom, boom. And there you go, and you just connect them. If you want to add a long fingernail, you could add that over the top. The tip of a finger is not sharp. You could say that's my style. That's fine. Maybe. A better thing to do is to start with the actual anatomically correct way to represent it, then we can stylize from there. So in this case, fingers are like this. You see that shape? It's not a total circle. It almost goes inward at the end, and that's why people shorthand like this or like that. Okay, let's do a couple examples real quick. Something that's really interesting to me that I think a lot of artists skimp out on is the gesture of a fist. But if you notice, when you make a fist, look at that, fingers disappear. They go behind my hand. Why? Because the gesture of the fist is actually going inward. So let's take a look at this hand. I'm gonna start by just creating a box. So the general shape from here to here, create a box, and then notice this. Watch the gesture. It goes down like this. So I'm creating a line between all these knuckles because I'm seeing a pattern here across all these lines here. I'm not looking at the individual contour lines. I'm not even thinking about construction just yet. I'm just thinking about the shape that this plane right here is making, the top of the fist. And you'll notice that it goes from the top, goes down. And then the thumb comes around here. And since we see the front of the thumb, you can kind of indicate it like this. You're seeing the front, thumbnail here, and it kind of goes in like that. Now let's start separating the fingers. We have one knuckle here, another knuckle here, one here. Notice that the landmarks on my knuckles, okay? They're starting to go in. See this? That curve that I drew goes down, a little bit bigger. And this top plane is actually more like here. It's the top of the actual plane of the finger. There's a 3D box that I'm gonna draw around the pinky. Skin tightens up, starts crunching a little bit, something like that. Rest of the palm here, and I'm kind of just eyeballing it. That's not even correct. It's closer to here. But the skin is stretching over it so they look connected here. You see, this is how easy it is to just take a picture of yourself, reference it, and start drawing it. The knuckles are another thing that you obviously want to be really conscious of. They are super helpful landmarks. But you'll notice this more and more as you draw hands on your own. I'm mainly trying to give you tips on how to represent things so that way you can actually get to studying. Because I think one of the hardest parts for young artists is actually just knowing what line and mark I'm supposed to put down on the page. And it's better to suffer through it and figure it out on your own, but hopefully this is helpful for you. And then this finger is pushing down on this one here. Okay, the fist is done. Let's do this one. If I don't have a clear line for the knuckles, typically what I go for is the palm and finding the gesture of the shape of the hand, the base hand. So if it's flexing, do a little S curve. So that's what we're gonna do here. I'm looking at the palm here, I'm looking at this, okay? My knuckles are the gesture lines. Go here. Okay, I'm finding the gesture, the palm. These two guys, I'm gonna like capture them with a little shape here. I'm just gonna capture these two because it seems like they're kind of on the same wavelength in terms of their gestural shape. Foreshortening of the finger is still very tough for me too. It's still something I'm figuring out, so bear with me as I figure this out. I understand the construction, but now we want to represent it in a way that's artistic and gestural and has good shape. These two fingers I'm going to capture with a little gestural line. We're just going to capture these in here. Actually, let's see if I can draw this outside here. And So I know that this finger is coming right at me, okay? But I want the gestural line of the shape of the finger to be encapsulating the entire thing, not really focus on perspective just yet. So oftentimes, beginner artists really like to put character hands in a fist because they don't know how to show relaxed hand. But one of the best things you can learn to practice is a relaxed hand. So take your hand up, show it, see what a relaxed hand by your side doing nothing looks like. So again, I'm thinking of gesture, gesture. I'm already seeing this shape here. Gesture, gesture. The fingertips, the knuckles, and usually the back of the palm. So this time I'm gonna start by drawing the wrist because of the curve of the wrist and the angle that the hand is at. Okay, my gesture line for the top of my knuckles, draw the bottom of the hand like this. Now I'm just gonna go through, and you can view this like this. There's one finger here, one finger here, one finger here, and one finger there. There's also a knuckle here, one here, and another one there. So it was around this time I was wrapping up recording that my daughter started screaming and my wife had trouble with the kids. So I kind of just went quiet, turned off the camera, and then the camera died during the outro. I don't think I drew this hand as well as I could have. I don't even think I really captured the gesture that well, but I did it anyways. And that's what's important, is just sitting down, doing the work, and actually drawing your hands. That's really important. You know, learning these shorthand and these quick little gestural techniques is super helpful for quickly plotting a storyboard, a comic, getting a sketch down. It really just helps you be a lot more fearless with just putting a placeholder hand where it needs to be. You come back later with reference, you clean them up, they look nice. Okay guys, that's gonna be it for me. Again, just in summary, the two tips we talked about were the gestural ways to represent the skeletal structure of the finger in waves, and also to think about the gestural lines that knuckles make and the ends of your fingers make. But I also wanna encourage you to study hands on your own. If you have them, you should be looking at them and drawing them when you're bored. If you ever think to yourself, I don't know what to draw your hands. Quick plug, again, I have a Gumroad, free brushes, there's a comic book to read, the first 5 pages. If you wanna support me, there are ways to do that there. Subscribe to the channel if you found this content valuable. There's going to be a video soon coming on motivation. So if that's something you struggle with, stick around on my channel and do my best to cover my own story, how to overcome that, and how to create habits that break through any walls that you have. Have a good rest of your December. Feliz Navidad.